Hi everyone, Renee here. So this is going to be the first of my updated sunscreen series. I think the last one I did was about 2 years ago, so I'd say it's about time. So this video is going to be focused on the 100% physical mineral sunscreens that I'm just loving. I've linked a playlist of all my previous sunscreen reviews, so if you don't see it here, there may be a chance that it's a sunscreen I've reviewed in the past. There's the physical sunscreen filters, or the active ingredients that you'll find in mineral sunscreens are zinc oxide and titanium dioxide. Zinc oxide is broad spectrum protection. It will protect you from all the UVA and UVB rays, whereas titanium dioxide will mainly give you UVB ray protection. These filters work in exactly the same way as chemical filters do, contrary to popular propagated myth. They absorb the UV rays and then they transform them so that they are not damaging to our skin. They also have the ability to reflect and scatter some UV rays, but so do some of the more advanced chemical filters as well, which obviously are not the ones that we get in the US. Another ingredient that's become important for me to look out for in my sunscreens, and you'll see in some but not all of the sunscreens I'm talking about today, are iron oxides. It's been shown that when combined with zinc oxide, it has the ability to boost the protection against UVA and high energy visible light, or blue light, which zinc and titanium dioxide alone can't do as sufficiently. One thing I do want to mention is that these formulations are so very complicated. There's not much you can really determine about a sunscreen just looking at an INCI list alone and the concentration of filters that they're using. You're going to see sunscreens with 17% zinc oxide versus ones with 7% zinc oxide with the same SPF value, PA rating, or UVA PF rating. There's no sunscreen math that you can do to determine the strength of a formula. All you can do is look at the SPF and the UVA PF or PA rating, because that's the finished formula that is tested on human skin. There's so many factors involved: the technology, supporting ingredients, additive ingredients, solvents, the particle size, even the kind of zinc oxide or titanium dioxide that is used. I know with US sunscreens it's hard because you don't get a separate UVA rating. It's just not something you could calculate yourself. I've been obsessed with Purito's Comfy Water Sunblock. SPF 50+, PA+++++. This is zinc and titanium dioxide, EWG green. You can use this on babies, non-nanoparticles, and I am absolutely stupefied by the elegance of this. When I'm using this, I feel like I'm actually using a chemical formula sunscreen. It says that this is a 70% water-based formulation, probably why it feels so hydrating on the skin. I mean, it doesn't really get more elegant than this. It's so comforting. It's really soothing. It feels great on the skin. No cast. The finish you get from this is sort of a hydrated, silky finish. It looks like good, healthy skin. You know, it's not mattifying, but it's not like greasy either, because it really is very lightweight. This is alcohol and silicone free. Like, it is really spreadable, spreads evenly. I feel like this is really soothing. And really helps the redness that I get from the heat. It's got so many different extracts that come from Centella asiatica, like Mattescreen, but it's just beautiful. Heliocare's Mineral Tolerance Fluid, SPF 50, PA4 pluses. I got this when I was in London, and since then I've repurchased it. This is a complete unexpected surprise. I was just more excited to try the other two chemical sunscreens, and it turns out this is my favorite of all of them. Feels hydrating on the skin. It's lightweight. There's water resistance. This leaves no cast. It just blends out beautifully on my skin. And it's also a sunscreen that I will wear in the most intense sun exposure situations. So I really trust this brand. I also love that this has been ophthalmologist tested, so you can use this around your eye area and there won't be any problems. There won't be any stinging. It won't make, you tear, your nose run, all that grossness. There's a powerful antioxidant complex in here, which really sort of boosts your protection. So there's vitamin C, vitamin E, there's resveratrol, green tea, and it has additional technology that helps protect against blue light. So this was formulated to give photoimmunoprotection to skin that is particularly sensitive or reactive, or skin that is just gone through some very invasive laser procedures or treatments. And so I've actually used this during times when my skin have been particularly compromised from, my experimental active use, and never had I ever had a problem using this. So May Loves the Sun Protector. I actually got a sample of this before the May Love site even launched. I was so impressed with it. I really wanted to include it in my last mineral sunscreens video, but unfortunately no one would have had a way to find it or purchase it. So the thing is, 2 years later, my opinion still stands. 18.6% non-nano zinc oxide. This comes to around a PA of 3 pluses. So this is definitely one of those sunscreens that's great for everyday use. Not necessarily if you're going to get some serious, intense exposure, but it's also a sunscreen that you can double up as a moisturizer as well. A very lightweight moisturizer. It will do the double duty. There are 2 different types of vitamin C. It's got vitamin E. It has like a semi-matte finish. It's not really matte. It's not really dewy or heavy or greasy. It's just very skin. This is elegant, feels beautiful, minimal cast on me. I am very careful the way I apply sunscreens like this, which is I don't put it as one big glob on my face. I apply sunscreens in layers. I will do one layer, let that sort of absorb and disappear, and then apply the next layer, and it's just easier that way to control any kind of cast. A good drugstore alternative, which I really like, is this one from Australian Gold. Their Botanical Tinted Sunscreen for Face. It has an SPF of 50. Out of the many drugstore options that I tried, this is just my absolute favorite. 4% zinc oxide, 4% titanium dioxide. It also has iron oxides in it as well as some lovely antioxidants, vitamin E, kakadu plum, which is sort of nature's vitamin C, red algae. It's also weightless. It has a universal tint to it, which shears out into nothing. It literally is so blendable, and it's also super, super lightweight. Water resistant up to 80 minutes. It's also good for kids. It is very lightly moisturizing, even though it is non-greasy at all and has a sort of semi-matte finish to it. It's dry touch for sure. I do want to give a mention to Clinique's Pep Start, although I'm very aware that this is a teensy-weensy little bottle here. This is a great formula though, and it reminds me of 2 others that I absolutely love. So very quickly, this is titanium dioxide 6%, zinc oxide 4%, and it also contains iron oxides in it as well. Light as air, dries down into nothing, great for sensitive skin. There's no alcohol, there's no fragrances, but it also really sits well under makeup and sort of keeps everything intact throughout the day. The sunscreens that this reminds me of, just so that you can have a point of reference, is one that I picked in my last favorites for mineral sunscreens, which is the Skinceuticals Physical Fusion UV Defense. There are 2 that look exactly the same, by the way, so it's the Physical Fusion that I like the most. And this still is, to this day, one of my favorites. I will always come back to this, always repurchase it. The other one would be the Darphin Intral Environmental Lightweight Shield. My last video, I really had to decide to choose one or the other because they are so similar. So I ended up going with the Skinceuticals Physical Fusion, mainly because of price. I think these 2 are very, very similar. So if you've ever been interested in Darphin, I would just go for this. So really, anyone can wear these. I just thought it might be helpful to point out the ones that I think might be more suitable for those with oily tendencies, or anyone who may just prefer a more matte finish, some balance and control on their skin during the crazy humid hot summers, or who just like dry touch. I'm someone who never used to go for the matte finish, but in these days, with the way the weather has been and the way my skin is changing, I really appreciate a good dry touch. Plus, I feel that they sit really well under makeup. Supergoop's Smooth and Poreless 100% Mineral Matte Sunscreen has an SPF of 40. 17% zinc oxide, a little less than 1% titanium dioxide. This also contains iron oxides. This is water and sweat resistant for up to 40 minutes. This was a discovery that happened around the fall of last year. I instantly fell in love with it. So this is weightless and really functional. It's like a primer, a makeup primer. It kind of has this skin perfecting effect, so you don't really even need additional makeup on afterwards because it has a nice sort of like blurring ability, even though there is no actual coverage with this. So this is something I love for everyday exposure. It's not necessarily what I would turn to if I'm going to be spending hours in the sun, hardcore outdoor exposure type of situation. One thing I love and appreciate about Supergoop, they basically only do sunscreens, but they share their efficacy reports on their website for each product, which just shows such a tremendous amount of confidence and pride in their products. Another great one for every day, and this is a moisturizer as well, is this one from Paula's Choice. It's their Resist Super Light Daily Wrinkle Defense, SPF 30. This is great because it eliminates that extra layer. It also treats your skin. It hydrates your skin. It adds some moisture, but it's very lightweight. So even if it's in the wintertime and you want a moisturizing sunscreen, this is great for that. This contains 13% zinc oxide. It also contains the iron oxides. And just to round up the protection, it's also packed with beautiful antioxidants, including resveratrol, pomegranate, vitamin C, and E, lightweight, hydrating, dry touch, matte finish. It also has a very sheer tint to it, which on me is just perfect. There's no cast. On maybe a darker skin tone, there might be a slight cast, but I feel like it sheers out. Again, this is just great for everyday use. So for the hardcore protection for those summer outdoor activities, and I know I'm just going to be out there, I love the Neostrata. Their sheer physical protection SPF 50 PA4 pluses. This is the most fluid and lightweight, featherweight consistency of them all. This has 7% titanium dioxide, 6% zinc oxide. It also has a bunch of iron oxides in it as well. This is similar to the Matte and Poreless in that it just works so well under makeup. It's a superb primer. Even without makeup, it just kind of blurs out your skin, gives you that nice sort of smooth finish. It also dries down matte. The minute you apply it on your skin, it pretty much just disappears into complete nothingness. This definitely keeps the greasy areas on my skin at bay. It keeps everything balanced. Really, I feel like it lasts the whole day. This has a very sheer universal tint, although if you are very fair, there's a chance it may show, although it might just give you sort of like that healthy, a little bit of a healthy color. I do feel like people with darker skin tones could also use this. And this is not a kind of product that's gonna hydrate your skin, it's not gonna moisturize your skin, it's just gonna give you a lot of sun protection, and it's gonna keep you protected for a long time. Like I said, I feel like this lasts all day. This is such a gentle formula given that it is real powerful protection. So I really love this. Paula's Choice Defense Essential Glow Moisturizer has a broad spectrum SPF of 30. Like the other sunscreens from Paula's Choice, this is a moisturizer with sunscreen protection. This is such a beautiful, nourishing moisturizer at that. It's got like 12 different types of antioxidants in it. It also has all the vitamins we love, including C, E, B3. It has this very hydrating, smooth, lovely texture on the skin, and it imparts a beautiful, glowy radiance. So it actually looks really lovely under makeup, but a lot of times when I use this, I don't want to wear anything over it because it just makes my skin look so healthy and glowy. And, you know, it leaves absolutely no cast on me. I want to talk about Replenix's Sheer Physical Sunscreen. This has an SPF of 50 to 60 and contains 12% zinc oxide. I have to say, this is so similar to another favorite of mine by Dr. Dennis Gross, which is his Sheer Physical Sunscreen. I mean, these are completely scent-free, they're very water resistant, and these are just one of the few completely clear all mineral sunscreens. You know, this doesn't have a tint to it or anything. You just apply it and it's just completely clear on your skin. Even though this is a mist for when you want to use it all over your body, but on your face, you really should apply it on your hand first and then apply it from there. The reason why I think it's better for people with dry skin is because this is something I think oilier skin types will not appreciate, which is that it actually takes a long time to dry down on your skin. But once it dries down, it is matte gloriousness. I mean, it really keeps everything sort of balanced out, matte. If you have makeup over it, it just keeps everything sort of dry touch throughout the day. And this really lasts throughout the day because even when I'm trying to remove it at nighttime, it takes maybe more than one first cleanse. The initial application also feels sort of oily and slippy. This is a texture that I'm very familiar with, even though there really isn't any oil or moisturizers in here. It's got the vitamin C and E, resveratrol, green tea, CoQ10. It's got that beautiful antioxidant boost for protection. I want to make an honorary mention, which is NIOD's Survival 30. Unfortunately, this is something I was only able to get my hands on recently, so it's only been like maybe a couple of weeks that I've been using this, but so far I've just been loving it. This is just a really potent protection treatment, which is the whole Survival line. It's really focused on that. This happens to have an SPF of 30. That's why it's Survival 30. It has a PA of 3 pluses. This has non-nano zinc oxide of about 10%, and titanium dioxide of almost 6%. They have their own dispersion technology, which utilizes a silicone coating, which quickly evaporates. But also this kind of reminds me very much of the consistency of their photography fluids or their blurring primers that they do so well. You know, when you first apply it, it looks like it might have a white cast, but it just really blends out into nothing. You know, there is no added pigment in here. This is not easy to come by in the US at all, but so far I really am loving it. I also want to talk about the Color Science Total Eye 3-in-1 Renewal Therapy. You would have seen this in my latest morning skincare routine. This is an eye treatment that just does a whole bunch of things and does it all really well. This has an SPF of 35 and has titanium dioxide and zinc oxide. It also has some color neutralization, which really does a good job of just hiding the darkness under my eyes. Sometimes I don't even use additional concealer. This has such a beautiful hydrating thin texture to it, so it feels so soothing under the eyes. Also, you know, with the cooling applicator, it's kind of heavenly in the morning. It's actually buildable too, so if you really want a lot more protection, you can just build it up, and you know, it's not going to get cakey or cloggy. This also has the iron oxides and contains a whole bunch of ingredients that just really work at treating the skin under the eyes as well, so it's just beneficial on all fronts. So that's it for my favorite physical sunscreen picks. Stay tuned, because coming up will be my favorite all filter sunscreen picks. So I really hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'm wishing you great skin health. Bye!